The Tapas 7 became an integral part of the Madeleine McCann investigation after she went missing from her family's holiday apartment on May 3, 2007. Kate and Jerry McCann's 7 friends, 3 couples and the mother of one of the mums, joined the McCanns in Portugal's Praia da Luz for a joint holiday, and the 9 adults, along with their 8 children, spent time together during their vacation. The group of adults were dubbed the Tapas 7 as they were dining with Jerry and Kate at the hotel complex's Tapas restaurant on the night Madeleine went missing. Each of them willingly cooperated with the Portuguese and British police investigation, and none were ever made arguado, persons of interest, in the inquiries. Now, a new 8-part Netflix documentary called The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann is set to shed light on the circumstances leading up to her going missing. Neither Kate and Jerry nor any of the friends who were with them that night have taken part in the docuseries, which features interviews with police, friends and people involved in the investigation. So just who are the Tapas 7? Here's a look inside the McCann circle of friends. Jane Tanner, married to Russell O'Brien, mum of 2. Jane provided what was believed to be crucial evidence by saying she saw a man carry a child from the McCann's apartment at 9:15 p.m., 45 minutes before Kate raised the alarm. She'd passed Jerry McCann speaking to another holidaymaker on his way back to the restaurant from his 9:05 p.m. check on the McCann children, but both men later said they couldn't recall seeing Jane in the street. Jane claimed to have seen a child in floral patterned pajama bottoms being carried in the arms of a white, dark-haired man who did not look like a tourist. Her testimony, known as the Tanner sighting, was later disregarded when a British man stepped forward to say it was him carrying his daughter from the night crash. Her PJs matched the ones Jane had described to the police. Dr. Russell O'Brien, married to Jane Tanner. Russell was away from the group between 9:30 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. while he tended his ill daughter, Evie. Evie had been vomiting that night, so Russell and Jane took it in turns to eat their meal quickly before relieving each other in the apartment. Russell had come back to the restaurant table to eat his steak when Kate came running in screaming to Jerry that Madeleine had gone. He, along with Fiona Payne and Rachel Oldfield, told police that he'd seen British-Portuguese property consultant Robert Murat outside apartment 5A shortly after Madeleine's disappearance. Murat was made the investigation's first arguado after Portuguese police heard he'd been asking a lot of questions about the case. But his arguado status was lifted the following year after detectives found nothing linking Murat to the investigation. Dr. Matthew Oldfield, married to Rachel Oldfield. Matthew said he checked on the McCann children at 9:30 p.m. but did not actually see Madeleine as he was standing outside the children's bedroom door. Her bed couldn't be seen without looking around the door. He told Portuguese police that he glimpsed the twins asleep in their cots and left the McCann's apartment, having heard no sound from the children. He returned to the Tapas restaurant and let the group know all of the children were asleep. Moments later, Jerry McCann got up to check on his 3 kids. Rachel Oldfield, married to Matthew Oldfield, mum of 1. Rachel was the one who told Jane Tanner that Madeleine had disappeared. The recruitment consultant told police she saw Robert Murat outside apartment 5A. But Murat told police he was at home with his mum at the time. Mum of 1. Rachel was the one who told Jane Tanner that Madeleine had disappeared. The recruitment consultant told police she saw Robert Murat outside apartment 5A. But Murat told police he was at home with his mum at the time. Dr. David Payne, married to Dr. Fiona Payne. David was the last one other than the McCanns to see Madeleine alive. The Leicester University scientist checked on her, Kate and the twins while Jerry played tennis at 6:30 p.m. His impression was of a family who had had such a fantastic time, adding that the 3 young children were dressed in their pajamas and looked immaculate, just like angels. They all looked so happy and well looked after and content. David told British police in 2008 that Kate had first told the group, "She's gone," when she came back to the restaurant from checking on her 3 children. Kate later said, they've taken her," according to David's testimony. Dr. Fiona Payne, married to Dr. David Payne. The mum of two and wife of David also told police she saw Murat. The couple brought their own high-spec baby monitor from home and set it up at the Tapas restaurant so they could keep an ear out for their children waking up. Kate came back to the restaurant to raise the alarm. Fiona told British police that most of the adults immediately left their table to search for Madeleine. When she returned to the McCanns' apartment 5 minutes later, she said both of the twins were still asleep and Kate and Jerry were beside themselves. Kate was hysterical. "It upsets me very much to even think about how she was," Fiona said in a 2008 police interview. "She was so terrified, absolutely inconsolable. She was rampaging round the room. She's up and down, pacing, kicking walls, just on, for most part, just imagining where or what might be happening to Madeleine and angry at herself and then for having left her, not being there and she was shouting a lot, 'I can't, we've let her down, Jerry, we've let her down, we weren't there for her.' The pain that was causing her that she hadn't been there, was just very raw anger at the system that nobody was seemed to be arriving and what was being done and the feeling of just nothing being done, the helplessness and that raw emotion of just grief, of just terror and just praying. She was praying, she kept kneeling everywhere just praying and praying and asking for a priest and just wanted everybody to be praying for Madeleine, for her to be safe." Diane Webster, mother of Fiona Payne and grandmother of Lily and Scarlett, she told British police that she suspected the twins, Sean and Madeleine McCann, had been drugged, as they were still asleep in their cot after Kate raised the alarm. Speaking in a police interview in 2008, Diane said Jerry was absolutely distraught when everyone arrived in the McCanns' apartment. "I've never heard a man make the noises he made, and Kate was you just can't put into words how they were," she said in transcripts of the interview. "I remember I went through into the room where Madeleine was sleeping and she said she's been taken because she said that the shutters and that had been open, the window open. The twins were still asleep in the cot and with all the noise going on, I don't know how they slept through it, which makes me think they must have been drugged with something." Diane said Madeleine's bed cover was neatly turned back, adding that the position of her bed meant looking around the door of the bedroom to see it. Diane returned to her apartment to look after her grandchildren and said she recalled seeing Kate screaming, banging, hitting things and shouting, "We've let her down." The twins were later brought up to Diane's apartment to be looked after, and once again, the grandmother said she was surprised that they were still fast asleep. "They were taken from their cots when they were brought up to our apartment and they would have to come out into the cold and I would have expected some sort of awakening," she told police. Diane added that she'd never seen the McCanns give their children any medication, and speculated that all 3 of the kids could have been drugged by the abductor. Her feeling, she continued, was that the man carrying the child outside the hotel complex, known as the Tanner sighting, was of a man carrying a drugged and limp Madeleine away. But the sighting was later discredited by the British holidaymaker, who said he'd been collecting his sleepy daughter from creche.